Hi everyone, welcome back to this another video from me. Okay, and this video I would like to give the overview. Okay, overview of the key requirement of the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act for energy consumers. Okay, especially that covers building industrial sector and also buildings. Okay, let me share my screen. Share my screen. All right. So this video focusing on the requirement to comply for affected energy users and buildings. Okay, and buildings. Okay, this is basically my outline of my sharing. Okay, so let's start with the act. Okay, the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act or ECA 2024, effective from 1st January 2025. Okay. However, when this act is effective, is no requirement to comply for energy users yet, because this act naturally has some process to go through before the notice to be sent by the Energy Commission to the energy consumers. Okay, so this that when the act is effective for January means that Energy Commission can start performing their obligation and duties under this act. That's why now they are busy registering the energy manager, energy auditor, compiling data on the consumers, and all the works under the energy commission under the act. And also now, training provider can submit the application to become training provider and all that. Okay, so under this act, they have four sets of documents. Okay. One is the act itself. The main document is the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act 2024. Okay. And then followed by this EECR, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Regulations 2024. And under this document, they have the guidelines and also guides. Okay. The difference is that for the act, any change must go to the parliament. Regulations, any change approved by the AG can be signed by the minister. And for guidelines and guides, any change can be done at the Energy Commission's level. They can do the changes accordingly. And all these are legal documents that affected consumers must comply. Okay, must comply. Okay. If you look at the act, okay, at the act first thing, for consumers, you should look at Part 3, Duties of Energy Consumers, covering Section 5, 6, 7, and 8. And also for buildings, okay, this is for consumers. Consumers can be buildings and industrial facilities. Okay, and section 5, 6, 7, and 8 and 9 basically is obligation of the energy consumers must comply. And then for building only, it's just a building that meets certain requirement. Okay, you are under part 4. Okay, duties of person in charge of building. It's about the energy intensity label. Okay, label. Okay, so for the part 3, consumers, who are these consumers? Consumers that, ada any users that use energy more than 21,600 gigajoule of energy per year. Okay, etiquette and thermal energy, the total, if you are above 21,600 gigajoule per year, you falls under energy consumers. If you are, for this part 3, you can be buildings, you also can be industrial facilities. But for part 4, only for buildings. Part 4 only for buildings. If your buildings, your consumption below 21,600 gigajoule per year, but above minimum gross floor area as determined by Energy Commission. So you have to comply this part 4 under this act. Okay, I'll go on this more detail later. Okay, and this is other provision under this act. Okay, under the act, parts 8 basically, now Energy Commission has the authority. This is new. So Energy Commission now has the authority to ask information about energy related. Okay, energy related information they can ask. Okay, section under fall under section 37 until section 40. Okay, now let's look at the regulations. For this regulation, for consumers, for energy consumers or users, your coverage is under Part 2 for consumers. For energy consumers, covering Registered Energy Manager Chapter 1 and also Energy Management Chapter 2. Okay, and for buildings only, okay, the regulation covers the covers under the part 3 of these regulations. Okay, so regulation 11 until 12. Okay, for consumers, regulation 4 until 10. For buildings, okay, regulation 11 until 12. And then we have guidelines. We have guidelines. Okay, if you are energy consumers, okay, or and building for energy consumers, for compliance, you should look at regulation guidelines number one, guideline on ascertaining energy consumer, guideline number two, guidelines on energy efficiency and consumption report, guidelines number three, guidelines on energy management system, guideline number four, guideline on functionality software RAM, and then guideline number six, guidelines on energy audit. That's for if you fall under consumers. If you are under buildings, okay, you can refer to guidelines number 5 and 6. Okay? Okay, 5 guidelines on ascertaining building and energy intensity performance of the building, and also guideline on the energy audit report. This on the guidelines. Okay, so far, Energy Commission has published 7 guidelines, okay, and 3 guides. Okay, so what kind of energy cover under this act? You look at the act, okay, under the first schedule of the act, first there's primary energy. So if you're using this primary energy, or listed here, 1 until 2023, okay, this must, this considered as energy that you consume. And also the secondary energy like electricity, heat water, steam and water. If you combine all this, okay, your amount above 21,600 gigajoule, okay, you are affected as energy consumer. Okay, because this act covers electrical and thermal energy. Okay, and who are affected? Again, I summarize it here for you. Okay, if you're consumers above 20,000 gigajoule, either you under plant or buildings, okay, you have to refer to these documents for compliance on the right side here. Okay, if your buildings below 21,600 gigajoule, above certain floor area, for example, as a start, Energy Commission has announced that the first category of building affected under this act is the office building only. So if your office building, your gross floor area above 8,000 meters square and consumption below 21,600 gigajoule per year, you'll be affected under this act under section 10 until 15 or 16, if I'm mistaken. And you must refer to this document for compliance. Okay. And then to summarize that, okay, uh, under the Act, parties and their obligation, on the left side, Section 3, if you are consumers, according to this classification, the bottom boxes are your obligations. If you are energy consumers, okay, you're affected under this Act, okay, when you receive the notice from Energy Commission later, you must appoint a registered energy manager. Section 5, bracket 1. And then Section 6, you must develop and implement energy management system. And Section 7, you must submit the report every year. Energy efficiency and consumption report every year. And then you must appoint a registered energy auditor, conduct an energy audit, and submit the report every 5 years. Every 5 years. Okay? That on the obligation of the energy consumer. And then, under the section 5, bracket 2, okay, obligation of the registered energy manager. Okay? Especially to support the energy consumer to comply. So these are the summary. Okay? I look here, they got 4 boxes here on the role of the energy manager or registered energy manager or RAM. If you look at the box colored with purple, okay, under section 6, the obligation to develop and implement energy management system is under the energy consumer. But the one that responsible to ensure the consumer develop and implement the energy management system is the registered energy manager. And the RAM also is responsible to monitor the implementation of the energy management system. I explain further on the functionalities of the RAM later. And then part 3 on the buildings obligation. Okay, under section 10, they must apply for the energy intensity label. Section 11, they must display the label, one they receive the label, and then you must ensure they maintain the performance or energy performance based on the rating given. And then if their rating given below the minimum rating, for example, minimum is 2 star, but they just only get 1 star, the building must appoint a registered energy manager and then conduct energy audit and submit the improvement plan to Energy Commission on how they can improve their rating of the energy intensity performance. Okay, these are obligation of the energy consumers and buildings. Okay, and then when to comply? When to comply? Okay, to comply to this act for energy consumers. Okay, after 12 months, I expect, according to Energy Commission, January next year, they will start to send the notice out. Okay, because they have to wait for 12 months to confirm who are these energy consumers. Okay, so, and then they will issue the notice. The earliest will be January 2026. Okay, once you receive the notice, if you're a consumer, energy consumer, you must first, you must appoint a registered energy manager within 3 months from the date of the notice, first. Second, you must conduct your first energy audit by the registered energy auditor and submit the report, okay, within 12 months. Your first energy audit within 12 months from the date of the notice. And this energy audit must be done every 5 years. And then number three, after you have appointed your RAM, registered energy manager, within 12 months, the consumer must develop and implement energy management system according to the guidelines. Okay, within 12 months from the appointment of the registered energy manager. Why after the appointment of the registered energy manager? Because the registered energy manager is expected, okay, to ensure, to lead or to start the development and implementation of the energy management system and later to monitor the implementation. After 12 months of the appointment of the registered energy manager, you have to submit your first NGCCN consumption report to Energy Commission, and this report will be submitted online. Online. No need to submit some kind of write-up. Okay, it's online reporting every year. Okay, every year. This for energy consumers. And for buildings, at any time from now, okay, Energy Commission will issue the notice to you. As a start, they will issue notice to the office buildings. So they send a notice to office building. They will ask you to, under section, the power under section 38, they will ask you as the person in charge of building to submit your gross floor area value to Energy Commission. So you have to follow according to the notice. And one Energy Commission receive the notice from you, sorry, receive the gross floor area from you, they will issue another notice. Let's say you submit your gross floor area value, and then your gross floor area above 8,000 meters square for office building. And they will issue another notice. Notice to you that you have to apply for the energy intensity label. Okay? Not immediate, but after 12 months from the date of the notice from Energy Commission. After 12 months, why? Because you need to wait until you receive your 12-month energy consumption bill, and then you must submit your application together with the calculation of your building energy intensity, which is the total consumption of energy divided by your gross floor area to Energy Commission within 30 days after the 12th month from the date of the notice. This is a requirement. Okay, 30 days to submit the application to Energy Commission. And then they'll give you the ratings. Okay. And for the appointment of the RAM, okay. So there are two types of RAMs. One is the type 1. Type 1, the qualification basically cover electrical energy. And type 2 will cover electrical and thermal energy. If your consumption between 21,600 gigajoule and 50,000 gigajoule, you can appoint either RAM type 1 or type 2, either one. But if your consumption above 50,000 gigajoule per year, you must appoint a RAM type 2 only. Okay? For the RAM, ideally, you must appoint the RAM among your employee. among your employee. Okay, the one that having the REM certificate. Okay, ada type 1 or type 2. Okay, and every RAM, okay, can be appointed up to 8 consumers. 8 consumers from similar company or related corporations. One RAM can be registered for up to 8 energy consumers. But for the first time, if you don't have any RAM yet among your employee, you can engage external RAM, means that third party who has the RAM certificate. But if you want to engage the third party, you must engage RAM type 2 only. You cannot engage RAM type 1. Okay? But the condition is that the RAM type 1, type 2 that you engage cannot be more than 3 years. After 3 years, for the first time, after 3 years, you must engage, you must appoint the RAM among your employee. Okay? That's all about the appointment of the RAM. And these are the function and duties of a RAM. If you look here, they have A until G. Okay, A until G. Okay, look at the A. A basically, among the function and duties of the RAM, first, collect and analyze energy data. Okay, according to the requirement here and also guidelines on the energy management system. And then B, to ensure the consumer develop and implement energy management system. Okay, if you look at the bottom part of this B, okay, basically the RAM, okay, is expected to ensure the Energy Management Committee, EMC, develop and implement a comprehensive energy management system. Comprehensive, according to the guidelines. Okay, that's B. C, once the system being developed and implemented, okay, the RAM must monitor the implementation of the energy management system. Among the mandatory duties of the RAM is to ensure to conduct the meeting, energy management committee meeting, at least 4 times a year. And then that each meeting must be minuted and the minute must be approved by the top management. Okay, and then the RAM must ensure to arrange, okay, the management review meeting with the top management at least once a year and keep the minutes, prepare the minute and make sure the minute approved by the top management. So basically, C basically is about getting the system implemented accordingly and monitor the implementation. And D, okay, the RAM duties basically is to prepare and submit the report according to the guidelines, okay, and to ensure all information and data provided, okay, in the report are accurate, okay, are accurate, okay. And then F, this is, I would say, the only technical, a little bit technical duties as a RAM. Okay, basically to advise the energy consumer, to advise, not to identify. Okay, to advise energy consumer on energy saving measures. And also to refer to the energy audit report prepared by the state energy auditor. Because normally energy audit report, they have the energy saving measures as well. And then prepare the proposed action plan and also propose the measurement and verification plan for the energy management committee to monitor to verify the energy performance improvement. That's F. And then G basically to perform any duties, okay, as instructed by the Energy Commission. The way I look at it, if you look at item A until G of the Energy Manager or the RAM, the role mainly are management roles, not so much technical roles. Because I'm not surprising because we expect the technical part of energy management can be supported by the engineers in the company. Or even they can get external expert to help them to look for the technical solution for energy savings and all that. In fact, they also supported by the energy audit. We perform every 5 years. So the way I look at it, energy managers' role are basically are more management. Okay, expected based on these guidelines. Basically, the role basically a full-time job, a full-time job. Okay, if this not a full-time job, it will be much more difficult to perform these duties. Okay, and then again, we have the system here, the engineering system, and section 6, consumer must have the system. Let's have a look at the system. Okay, for the system, you can refer to these guidelines. Guidelines on engineering system, published by the Commission. If you look at the guidelines, okay, when they prepare these guidelines, among the key documents that they refer in the guideline, basically here. When they develop this document, among the key document that they referred when they developed the guideline is the standard ISO 50001 2018 version. And other document as well, okay, B, C, and D. But I can say here, what I can share here, generally, globally, the energy management system best practice or standard, everyone refer to this ISO 50001. And all these other documents like, UNIDO documents, STAR guidelines, energy management on the STAR by US and ASEAN Energy Management Accreditation Scheme, EMAS, okay, all these have common feature or common requirement compared to ISO 50001, similar, almost similar. Okay, so my point here, if you adopt best practices based on the standard, okay, whatever document you refer, you also comply to the legal requirement. Let's have a look further. If you compare the requirement between the guidelines and the standard, okay, these two, okay, left is the standard ISO 50001, right is the guidelines under the act. Okay, if you look here, the feature here, the element in the contents of the two documents are similar. But they put it into different kind of just different kind of definition, the different kind of word. That's all. Okay. If the standard clause 4 until clause 10, but for the guidelines fall under clause sections 4 until section 8. Okay. If you compare the framework, similar about the same thing. If you look here, look at the left guidelines. Okay. If you look at established commitment, so that equivalent to, okay, go to the right, okay, the standard fall under leadership. Standard in the leadership falls under clause 4 and 5. And then we go next one on the left, okay, guidelines, okay, under assess performance and develop target. Okay, this one should fall, okay, assess performance and develop target, develop action plan, okay, that will fall under the planning and the standard. Clause 6. Clause 6, planning, okay, and look at the implementation plan, okay, that will fall under in the standard on the right side, support and operations, under clause 7 and 8. And you go to the next one, measure progress. Measure progress, okay, basically, and also management review, okay, that will fall under, okay, measure progress fall under clause 9, performance evaluation under standard, under ISO 50001, and management review fall under improvement, under clause 10 of the ISO 50001. So it's the same thing. And if you look at the middle of the guidelines, okay, reporting and documentation, okay, that fall actually, reporting and documentation fall under clause 6.6 of the standard under documentation, okay, for the system. Sorry, not clause, sorry, not clause 6.6, but clause 7.5, okay, documentation for the system. So the way like so this that what does this tells you? Basically, it tells you if you adopt best practice based on the global recognized standard, naturally you will comply to the legal requirement. Simple as that. But for the standard, you may go for certification, okay, for your business purpose. But the guidelines under the act, you don't need to get certified. Okay. If you go further like this, if you do like this, right? You go for the cycle, okay, the cycle like this, right? This is the cycle, PDCA cycle. Okay, divide into the commitment, leadership, planning support, operation, performance evaluation, and management review and improvement. You look here, this is the standard requirement, ISO 50001. Okay, where's the act, the guidelines? Here, section 4, section 5 and 6, section 7, and also section 8. Okay? So my point here, okay? So if you adopt the standard, you comply to the legal requirement. But if you just follow the legal requirement, okay? Follow the legal requirement, let's say this guideline here, right? You just follow exactly according to the legal requirement here. Okay? You are as good as you are ready to get certified. Okay? With that, you are as good as you are ready to get certified. So you can get certified anytime. It's about calling the suitable certification body. Okay, that's on the energy management system. Okay. And then if you look, okay, and then if you look at, no, that's why I skipped this one, maybe too long, okay. This one clause by clause and section by section, okay, comparatively. My point here is the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay. And then you have to submit the report under section 7. Okay. This is the content of the report. If you look at this report contents, you look here. Okay. Section 4, look 4.11 until 4.1.9. Okay. All this information, okay, should be available. All this information and data under section 4 under this guideline for the reporting. Okay. All this information, okay, should be available in your energy management system that you have developed. So what you need to do, you just extract this information and data and report. So my point again, if you develop the system properly according to the guidelines, reporting shouldn't be an issue at all. Basically, all about extracting the information and data, and you report every year. That's all. Okay. And then you need to conduct energy audit. Energy audit is a requirement in Section 8, Section 9. Conduct the audit by the REA and also submit the report every 5 years. Okay. If you look at the guideline on the energy audit report here, okay, Section 4, H until K is the key information in the audit report. So this this information actually is a part of the information this information is actually can be the input in your energy management system development and implementation. Energy audit basically give you the information on how you can save, how much you can save, and this information can be used, okay, in your energy management system development in the target setting part under the gold standard under clause, basically clause 6.2, okay, under the guideline under section 5. Okay, so my point here, the way I look at it, energy audit is a part of the activities in the energy management system. That's why you should look at this section 6, section 7 and 8 and 9 as one package. Okay, and the one that is responsible to look into this, okay, is the registered energy manager under section 5 section 5. Okay, the core of this tree is the energy management system. That's why you must make sure you implement you develop energy management system, implement accordingly according to the guidelines. Okay, when you do that, the reporting will be easier. Energy audit can be useful for your energy management system development. And then we look into the buildings. Okay, part 4. For buildings, okay, these are the requirements. Okay, if you're building, okay, you must apply for the label, section 10. And once you got the label, you must display your label. Okay, the label, if you got 1 star, you must show it visibly. You cannot hide it. Okay, and you must maintain the label performance. And then if your label below the minimum requirement or upon checking your actual reading below your rated, okay, you must conduct energy audit. Okay, this is the guideline on the buildings. Okay, for buildings, okay, to start with, basically, who are affected? Only office building so far. Only office building. If your building, office building, gross floor area above 8,000 meters square, okay, at least you have to comply to this. Okay, you will receive the notice from the Energy Commission and then declare your value, your gross floor area. If above 8,000 meters square, you will be required to apply for the label upon receive the notice from the Energy Commission. Okay, to calculate the gross floor area, okay, this okay, you must exclude this area. Okay, exclude this A until G. Okay, means that this exclusion. When you calculate your gross floor area, get somebody who is qualified, for example, architect or whoever qualified to calculate the floor area. Get them to calculate for you, and based on the guideline under by any commission, you must exclude this area. And to calculate basically to calculate your BI. If you look here on the left side, this is the formula to calculate your BI. Basically, total consumption per year divided by your gross floor area. And then this is the rating value for office building that has been published by Energy Commission under the guidelines. And then when you apply, Energy Commission will issue the label. The label is look like this, left and the bottom part. With your star rating. Ada 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, or 5 star. And this label you must display accordingly. This is for building. And these are requirements for if you want to become energy manager. Okay. For energy manager, all right. The requirement minimum you must have degree in science or engineering or technology or architecture, okay, from the recognized degree, and then at least 2 years working experience. You have that, you can apply, you go to the course by the registered training institute. You sit for the 5 days course. The final day will be the exam. If you pass the exam, you can become RAM type 1. Okay. After 1 year, you renew your certificate. You can go to another course if you want to. Another course to become RAM type 2. Go for the 5 days course again. Sit for the exam, you can get the RAM type 2 certificate. This one for degree holder. If you are diploma holder, you must have at least 10 years working experience. Okay, 10 years working experience. And then if you have that, and you can apply, you can go for the course, you can sit for the exam like others. Okay, and then this one for the to become registered energy auditor. Okay, for these two are two different competencies. You don't have to become energy manager to become energy auditor. You can simply apply to become registered energy auditor. So what you need to do, okay, meet the minimum requirement. Okay, let's say your degree holder, minimum again 2 years working experience, and then you must submit your application to energy audit report that approved by the Energy Commission, to energy audit report. And then if everything okay, they will call for interview, and if you pass the interview, you can become the registered energy auditor. But if you are diploma holder, you must become RAM type 2 for you to be eligible to apply to become the registered energy auditor. Okay, but for degree holder, no need to become energy manager. They can simply apply if they meet the requirement. You have the energy audit report, submit, and then you can go interview, pass, you become REA. And this is the power of Energy Commission. Okay, if you cannot provide information as requested, you can go up to 2 years in prison or 100,000 penalty. Okay, on the providing information. All right. These are the penalty. The penalty based on each section, okay, of the act, okay, depending on the section. So separate section each section has their own penalty values, okay, penalties. Okay, and what to do from now? Okay, what to do from now? Okay, I strongly suggest what to do from now. Okay, first, understand this act. Okay, that's why this video basically is my effort. Okay, my own effort to share on the requirement of the act. Okay, regulation and also the guidelines. And then, okay, if you are energy consumers, start to identify and train candidates to become who will become your registered energy manager. And then, okay, plan and implement training program for your potential energy management committee members and also RAM, especially on the energy management system development and implementation. Okay, based on the guidelines, train them so that they can be involved in the development implementation, even though that want to be led by the strategy manager. And then number 4, start to collect data and document all the energy related data and information for each plant. Okay, and to be kept in a structured way. Okay, why? Because all this data later need to be used in the energy management system development implementation and also for the building energy density performance labeling applications. If you're building, you can start to collect your data and then start to calculate your gross floor area value, especially for office building. And finally, I do recommend, okay, start to develop energy management system for your organizations. Because after you receive the notice from Energy Commission, after the appointment of the RAM, you have only 12 months. Okay. Based on my experience in this, developing the system, management system, it's not easy. Okay. At least based on my experience with consultant, okay, they can do at least so far, at least 8 months with the consultant helping them. Okay. If they don't have anyone to refer, they have to do it alone. Possible, provided they get very strong support from the committee members. If not, it will be much, much tougher. So that I would recommend start to develop the energy management system at the organization now if you know you're affected by this act. Okay, because under this energy management system, okay, there are a lot of documents, a lot of things to be documented. I'm not worried about the top part, the green boxes, okay? manual SOP form. That one no issue. That one easy. But you must have a plan how you want to record and document your energy related data. Okay? Energy related data, because that data need to be collected, need to be analyzed, need to be monitored and all that. So you must have a plan on how to document that properly. If you put all the data in separate files, separate folder, different people and all that, will be much, much more difficult during the compliance checking. Therefore, there is a solution. Okay, this is a solution. This is example of template of how you can put everything into one place. So UNIDO has come up with these guidelines. Okay, guidelines. They got a one so-called Microsoft Excel spreadsheet where you can have the everything into one place when you develop the system. You can download this spreadsheet under this so-called under this website here at the bottom here. Okay. You can download from here. Okay, the bottom here, this is the website. You can download the so-called template of the engine system development. Okay, you can use that. Okay, but so you cannot do it alone. You must do with your team. Study the template. Try to figure out how you can make use of the template to make sure that all data to be collected into only one simple file, Excel file, for your energy management purpose, for compliance checking. Okay, for your own records. Okay, this example, what I did, okay, I improvise that. Okay, I improvise that. Basically, this like this. Okay, like this. Okay. So that's all my sharing. Okay, that's all my sharing. Okay, this is our number. You can reach out for us to help you if you need our help. Okay. All right. So that's basically my sharing about the EECA covering the energy users. Okay, I hope this video is helpful for you. Okay, you can share this video with others because I believe there are many more out there still don't have so much, don't have that proper idea about what the requirement of this act. Okay, this is my part. Okay, this is my part to help with my experience and knowledge. Okay, with my knowledge about this act for that we can share with you so that you can share with others. With that, thank you very much. Okay, hope I can see you again in the next video.